Hello, folks, and welcome to the first ever episode of the Hate Bit podcast. This is the gaming podcast that is the most pissed off on the internet. So, I am SaintedMagnus, or you can call me Sainted, and I have three fellow metalhead YouTubers, all gamers as well. I'm going to pass it on to AlphaOmegaSin. Take it away.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's me, AlphaOmegaSin. If you do not know who I am, I pretty much am just a ranting, raving, fucking lunatic of a human being who sits in front of a camera and pretty much verbally abuses it to no fucking end and makes some people actually quiver and shit themselves. And if that happens, I'm not going to be held liable for anybody's undies being fucked up in the process. Anyway, I'm a gamer, nerd, and all that shit. Doesn't really matter. I'm passing this off to my good buddy RazörFist because I've babbled enough. Take it away.
Hey!
Godspeed, fella. I am RazörFist, also known as the Rageaholic, and I do my own little show called The Rageaholic on YouTube. I'll be here to provide the requisite quantity of bile and vitriol. That is my job. I consider it a calling and a gift. And I have shapely genitalia. I'll be passing it off to a young man by the name of Yellkaos.
Hey gang, Yellkaos here, and I'm here to assault your ears and piss in your beers. Welcome to the Hate Bit Podcast!
Okay,
Dude.
that kind of...
Our fucking introduction is fucking awesome as far as I'm concerned. That shit gets 11 out of 10.
Oh, that is definitely in there. So, right, moving on to... We've introduced ourselves. You know what we fucking look like, hopefully by the pictures on the actual screen. And we're going to move straight into the news. So I'm going to throw the news at RazörFist. Go for it.
Sweet. So, in the past week, the Silent Hill... Well, actually, what was it? A week and a half, Silent Hill HD collection was released by Konami. After a long... we've been anticipating it for a while, but anyways, it came out, and surprise, surprise, it's a buggy, half-finished piece of fucking shit. There's missing textures. They reduced the amount of fog in the fucking game so you can see half-finished and unfinished fucking scenery in the distance and blah, blah, blah. Anyways, so one of the original members of Team Silent weighed in this past week, actually played the game. Somebody demonstrated it for him. And his literal quote was, "That's a finished retail product? I shit you not, guys." This guy worked on the original games. He's looking at a game he fucking made, and now on the PS3 version, the HD collection, fucking 3 is missing a half a dozen textures. The fucking sound doesn't work. It's buggy out the ass. It's unfucking believable. So thoughts, guys? What do you think?
It's a fucking cash-in.
Yeah.
It is a fucking cash. All these HD collections are fucking cash-ins. The thing that pisses me off about these fucking HD collections, number one, they're not HD.
Nope.
Right?
No.
Have any of you played any of these HD collections?
Yeah, I played the Metal Gear Solid HD collection. I got it imported from a good friend of mine, and I played number 3. It doesn't seem any different to playing the PlayStation 2 version. The only reason I'm playing it at the moment is because of the Peace Walker, because that's actually... You can actually use 2 analogs on it this time, so it actually plays like it should have done instead of on the PSP version.
I heard that Peace Walker and Metal Gear Solid 3 on the HD collection were changed somewhat. They actually improved some textures and increased some fidelity and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, but that's Hideo Kojima. He's like the George Lucas of video games. You know, he always keeps playing with it until finally it's released, and then he plays with it a bit more.
Yeah, and sometimes it's good, and sometimes it's Metal Gear Solid: The Twin Snakes.
Yes.
But
the less said about that version, the better.
Zing.
But the HD collection for Silent Hill apparently is so fucking bad, and they didn't do anything like that for the Silent Hill HD collection. I don't know if any of you guys are Silent Hill fans, but I'm a huge fucking Silent Hill fan.
See, the thing that kills me is, like you, I am a big fan of Silent Hill, and I'm a big fan of Silent Hill 2, especially because it's my favorite of the series. And the thing that actually was taking a cheese grater across my fucking nutsack about it was the fact that they went and they had to redo the voice cast in it. And I can understand that to a certain degree, just because they lose the rights and to have some of that content in there. But the fact that they went and got people that sound way worse,
considerably worse,
is inexcusable. It's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And like you had said, it's a half-finished product that they put out for full retail price, and everybody's just going to go and nab it up.
That's the thing with these HD collections, though. I for one, I don't really see much of the point of them, because you can still pick up the PS2 versions or the Xbox versions of each game, and you can still play them, and they still look fantastic. And that's, after hearing that's made me worried about the Zone of the Enders HD collection.
Oh God, Zone of the Enders. I played that. That was actually, I think that was the first PS2 game I ever played. My friend brought over his PS2. He's like, dude, PS2 is the future of gaming, man. This guy was like a walking PlayStation advertisement. Anyways, so he brings over Zone of the Enders, and I'm like, holy shit, giant robots fighting in midair. This is amazing, because it's the year 2001. But now that it's 2012, I'm not so amazed by it.
No.
But I don't know, HD collection could be cool, except that, isn't it Konami?
Yeah, it's Konami, so hopefully.
Yeah, so they're not gonna enhance it at all. It's just they're just gonna put it in widescreen like they did with Silent Hill, and it'll probably be buggy as ever loving shit.
Mm.
But
I wonder why they don't just add extra features to the shit to make it really worth the money. Because I mean, they up the resolution and whatnot, and what's kind of fucked up about it is they don't up the resolution on everything. Because
Nope.
I've noticed tons of fucking textures will still be like a blurry mess, as if they just, you're seeing it on PS2, and then you're seeing, the other ones that look real nice side by side, and it looks like a fucking convoluted mess. It's like, you're kidding me. This is put together. Like, did you guys take a good look at this? Because I'm seeing it on my big ass TV, and I'm none too happy.
I'm wondering if they actually view them on bloody mobile phone screens.
the worst fucking thing is that some of these fucking HD collections, they take shit out. Did you guys hear about the Splinter Cell HD collection that removed fucking multiplayer from Pandora Tomorrow? What the fuck? Jesus, I could play that shit on Xbox and have a better fucking time, but Jesus Christ.
Yeah, Pandora Tomorrow had bitchin' online. I got to play that on Xbox, and I was just like, this is fucking awesome.
Well, this past week, I've been playing through all the Splinter Cell games in order.
Ooh.
So I finally got done with the first god-awful fucking game, and I'm moving on to Pandora Tomorrow and enjoying it immensely. I'm like, holy shit, the people who made this game knew what the fuck they were doing. But enjoying it far more. So go. Who's next?
Who's next?
Well, we have one gentleman that's been really, really quiet, Mr. Chaos. What the fuck are you doing? Quit being a mute.
Hey, man, I'm just letting you guys be all classy and take it away.
Well, it's your turn for the news.
We're always classy.
It's my turn with a piece of news.
Yeah, piece
Well,
of news.
I agree, but that having been said, today we mourn the passing of HudsonSoft Company Limited from Tokyo, Japan. Or no, I beg your pardon, Akasaka, Minato, Tokyo, Japan. And for those who don't know, they're the people with the B. And they brought us one of my favorite series, Bomberman, but they closed up shop earlier this month, March the 1st. And is anyone sad?
Yes.
Admittedly, I am, because I grew up with them. So yeah,
I'm gonna miss them. No more Mile on Secret Castle 2.
Oh, drat.
No.
yeah, I was really crossing my fingers for that one.
Oh, I was.
What the
Yeah,
fuck?
I have fond memories. I have fond memories of, actually, Bomberman and Bonk's Adventure are really the only ones that ever grabbed me.
Bomberman for me.
That's my.
So
That's
Bonk
my.
was
Did
grabbing
they grab you inappropriately? Can you show them on the
I mean,
dog?
do we have to alert the authorities?
No, there will be no authorities alerted, because it was a fabulous way that
So it's mute.
they came across me. But well, what I feel is that Bonk's Adventure, not a great game, but was a game that allowed me to have Bonk's Revenge, one of my favorite platform games of all time.
Cliche.
So I missed them. I missed them for that. However, this being the Hate Bit podcast, these are also the people that took Mario Party and ran it right into the fucking ground.
Yeah,
So,
Mario Party
good
9.
Yeah.
Fuck.
No, they didn't do Mario Party 9, actually. That was NDQ
that's right.
that did that.
Okay, that's right. They did 1 through 8. Fuck.
Well, they did. I think they did 2 through 8. Actually, I think the first one was totally in-house.
Jesus.
Shame.
And that was the game. God damn, I remember Mario Party. Was Mario Party 2 on 64?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I'm
remember,
looking
I
right
remember
now.
that game.
I
Whoever
think
the
the first
fucking
3 were on
genius
64.
is that decided, hey, you know this terrible joystick we got on the N64 controller? Let's make people spin it around 1,000 times until their thumb falls off and they end up having fucking some horrible, I don't know, fucking avuncular sclerosis of the goddamn hand and it turns into a fucking claw. What the fuck, people? I mean,
I don't know
I hate
about
that
you,
fucking-
but it wasn't my thumb that was fucked up. It was the palm of my hand that looked like a drill bit was going through it from me
Yeah.
fucking about with it.
Oh man. By the end of
Well,
it,
I think that was the part of Mario Party 2. I think that was the part of Mario Party 2 that really gave it away that it was not done in-house at Nintendo, because I don't think they really understood the shortcomings of the controller either.
No.
It's obvious, you know, while I say that the 64 controller is a wonderful controller when they're brand new, heavily emphasis on being brand new, yeah, they don't age well. I think that's what the problem most people have with it.
I found
But
that most
any-
Nintendo controllers don't age well.
Video game controllers is what you're saying.
Say that again?
I said they're the Lindsay Lohan of video game controllers is what you're saying.
Yeah,
Like,
I was gonna
No,
say-
no, because see these things
I
these
hope
things
Coke
start
knew
off with talent.
yeah. Oh.
These actually have something redeemable about them. Lindsay Lohan seems to just be popular because she had freckles once.
once.
that once.
Until she had them digitally removed.
Can somebody tell me what the fuck is so special about Lindsay Lohan?
The fact that she could suck
Exactly.
enough dick to fill an entire stadium.
She can suck the
Yeah.
chrome off a toe hitch.
It's true.
And apparently do a crab walk on Family Guy.
Yeah.
And now the way her fucking teeth look, she could eat corn through a chain link fence. That's another story.
Yeah, and she can also snort enough coke to fucking put Columbia out of business.
Yes. It's
Poor
true.
Columbia. Oh, and I have to disagree about one thing. There is one Nintendo controller that does age well, and that's the regular Nintendo controller, the good old NES controller.
Absolutely.
Ah, yeah.
Absolutely.
That thing could get ran over by a fucking truck, and this is the truth. It could get ran over by a truck and continue to function.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
I love the
Yeah.
NES controller.
Dude,
Only moving parts.
it was an absolute awesome controller. There's really nothing bad you can say about it. It's got a D-pad, start, select, 2 buttons. What the fuck else do you really need? You know, it's
you
pretty
need is
much
those
like
2
the
buttons.
man's controller.
Well, you know what's weird about the NES controller is that it, when you read through video game history, you know, the late 60s on up until, you know, the crash and then everything that came after the crash, and they called it a revolutionary design. Whereas I look at it, I don't understand being revolutionary. I mean, when you look back, I guess it makes sense, but it's everything you need right there. What is so a great idea about this? And that's I guess that's the fundamental basis of any great idea, is it's everything that works right now, here, now, then.
I'd say it's more iconic.
Am I the only one who is getting
I
a
think
little
it's only
sick
iconic
of...
because of having marketing campaigns.
Yeah. Am I the only one who's getting sick of the fucking PlayStation controller never goddamn changing? Am I the only one? I mean, Jesus fucking Christ. I was one of like the 2 people on planet Earth who was looking forward to the fucking boomerang controller.
I
I'm
think
the
it's
only
about to
one?
say, man, the boomerang controller. I was looking forward to days when I got pissed off, threw the controller, and it comes back and whacks somebody behind me. Like, fuck yeah.
I think
That's
Then
what
I
I
feel
was
good
looking-
about
No, no,
losing.
Alpha, when you throw it, it goes away, and when you pull it back, there's a bad guy at the end of it.
See, I would love that. That would honestly make it a really awesome design. But I don't know, man. The only thing about that boomerang design was, do you remember like the shoulder button layout? That was all fucked up.
Yeah, I'm sure it was. But that's the thing. At least it's a different controller. Like, people give the original Xbox controller the big motherfucker that takes up the size
The
of a fucking
Duke.
county. Yeah, the Duke controller. Anyways, so I love that fucking controller because I love a big fucking hunk of plastic with buttons on it. That's what I
Do you
love.
put your Star Wars figures on it?
Yeah.
Dude, it's basically the Death Star of all controllers.
And the fucking Xbox logo. There's an Xbox logo with a little bit of plastic on top. In the middle, it's the size of a fucking commemorative plate.
And that it
It
does look
smacks me in the
pimped up.
face, doesn't it?
It does look.
Jesus.
Xbox.
I love that controller so goddamn much.
I just have it in my head now. I want to see like an Elvis commemorative plate like on the center of an Xbox controller, and some old bitch is just like jamming out the fucking.
No. It would have to be Dale Earnhardt.
Yeah, or we can have one with like bears and fucking wolves and shit howling at the sky, and a fucking an Indian with a single tear. That'll fucking set.
Oh,
If we hold to the chaos theory idea that when a butterfly flaps its wings, it creates a hurricane somewhere else. If you drop an Xbox controller, it's got to be responsible for some tsunamis in Asia or fucking. Seriously, guys.
On that note. So Hudson.
on that note, we mourn the passing of HudsonSoft.
We mourn the passing of HudsonSoft via Nintendo controllers and Xbox controllers and come back. Right, so
All over the
Alpha,
place.
have you any news?
My news for the most part, oh man. To be honest, I really don't have a whole lot of news going on right now other than the Neo Geo X, which is a big topic right now.
I will be doing that in a bit. So I'll get on to my news then. I've got 2 bits.
Teaser.
I've got 2 bits. The first one is one that I'm very interested in, and that is Dead or Alive 5.
Sweet titties.
Titties, yes, titties.
Titties.
Digital titties.
And as we know, it could open up possibilities of another crossover game.
Uh-oh.
Because they've put in 5 Virtual Fighter characters into Dead or Alive 5.
Well, here's hoping it's as god-awful as fucking Street Fighter X Tekken.
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah. Well, the 5 characters that they've put in are Pi, Sarah, Akira, Miller, and Rig.
See, I love Virtua Fighter a lot, and I don't know, Dead or Alive is cool too, but Virtua Fighter is amazing.
Virtual Fighter, Virtual Fighter 2 on the Saturn.
Virtua Fighter 2. I mean, I like the more recent ones too. Virtua Fighter 4, the what is it called? The Championship Edition, the stick your thumb up your own ass edition with all the tutorials and shit.
Yeah,
that one's pretty fucking cool. And Virtua Fighter 5 is fantastic online on the 360 version. You'll only ever fight Japanese players who do nothing but pleasure themselves 24 hours a day to Virtua Fighter 5, so you're gonna get raped in every hole, but still, it's a pretty fun game, and it's gorgeous. Still,
yeah.
Which is
so
amazing.
I can tell you're excited to have these characters in Dead or Alive 5.
Yeah?
Yeah?
I don't know. I like Dead or Alive. I just don't like it as much as Virtua Fighter.
No, I totally agree. Even though the fighting systems are 2 totally different fighting systems, it's going to be interesting to see how that actually comes across.
I could never get a hang of the counter system in Dead or Alive. In the last Dead or Alive game for 360, whatever the fuck that one was.
Dead or Alive 4.
Yeah, I could never get the hang of it. I loved the online system in that game, though, with the fucking... You had the lobby with the avatars and shit. So many other games have ripped that off since then.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That idea.
And so, anybody else got an opinion on that?
I mean, I'm excited about it just for the sheer fact. I honestly think it's a good mesh. Like, I think that they can cross over into each other's worlds with relative ease, and it's not too distracting. And I mean, I admittedly am just a tad bit more of a fan of Dead or Alive than I am of Virtua Fighter, but
heresy, heresy.
I know
Kill him.
it really is. I blame it more on the fact that I actually got into the Dead or Alive games before I got into Virtua Fighter, and that's pretty much, I think, my reasoning behind it. And I had a lot more friends that were into it, but all around, like, I'm excited about it. Anytime that there's a new game from either franchise coming out, I'm pretty much on board and checking it out.
Oh yeah. Well, I saw the initial screenshots of it, and I was like, sold. I want it.
Man, fuck it. Fuck that. Fuck a crossover with Virtua Fighter. Or in addition to the crossover with Virtua Fighter, what about a crossover with Battle Arena Toshinden? Or fucking one of those other obscure fucking Dark Rift from the N64.
Oh my god, Dark fucking Rift, dude. That shit.
Dark
Wow.
Rift versus Dark
Masters of
Stalkers.
Terras.
Dude,
Yeah, let's get some of
well,
those.
now we're gonna pull out Mace the Dark Age too.
Oh man, I loved Mace the fucking Dark Age, dude.
I remember
so
seeing
fucking
screenshots of that and being like, "Oh my god, games have never been more realistic." Than I played, and I was like, "This looks like shit."
Oh man, and it's so hard to use with the fucking N64 controller with the joystick.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, you only ever feel like you're offering a vague suggestion to the controller. It's like, do you want to push to the right or to the left? It'll literally reverse on you. The fuck?
Oh yeah. And
especially those fucking complicated fatality inputs. It's like up, down, left, right, do a cartwheel and through a window in a burning ball of flames. Oh, okay, thanks. Yeah.
I don't know. I always look at Primal Rage as probably the most ridiculous inputs for any move / fatality, because it's like, if you want to do a basic fucking move, it's like you have to
Hold
do
all
like
3 buttons, push up, down, left, right, start, select.
What the hell?
Dude, it's like you have to do like the equivalent of 3 Mortal Kombat brutalities to pull off their fatality. It's fucking absurd. It makes no sense. But yes, Mace the Dark Age is bad.
It would have been easier to make Primal Rage than to play it.
Yeah, just coding the entire game with the N64 controller, no less. You could get that done faster than getting their fucking their brutalities, fatalities, what the fuck ever, all pulled off. Shit's out of hand.
Blindfolded with your feet.
You could
Still an awesome game, though. I mean, you give me a choice of playing Primal Rage for 4 hours or playing Street Fighter 4. Fuck Street Fighter 4. I'll be playing Primal Rage.
And moving on, I've got my second bit of news, which is actually another death. Another death that's pretty imminent. You know what I mean. It's going to happen, basically, but it's just a case of when. Basically, it is Game going down. They've recently...
British retailer Game?
Yeah, British retailer Game. Basically, it's the UK equivalent of GameStop.
Now, did you used to work there, Sean?
I used to work there. So it's a pretty heartfelt story. So yeah, we're going to put some music in the background for that, I think. But anyway, yeah, they've just recently filed for administration because they're just not making any more money now. They've just recently missed out on some really big releases from EA, Ubisoft, Capcom. So they
didn't stock Mass Effect 3, right?
They didn't stock Mass Effect 3.
So they were lucky.
Yeah, they only stocked one shipment. They stocked one shipment of SSX, and they didn't get any more. They've pulled all Ubisoft titles off the shelves, and they're not stocking any more Capcom titles.
Didn't they also have to go and reimburse people like actual store credit for a bunch of pre-orders and shit?
Yeah, I was one of those poor bastards. I wanted my money back. I wanted physical money back, but they gave me store credit of £5 for something that I didn't want to buy in the store because I'd lost faith in them. So, but we're not sure if it affects. We're not sure if it's going to affect the online store. So maybe they'll keep that part open. Or they're just going to go, oh, we're hoping that a UK company buys them, but rumours have it that GameStop's been putting the dirty little paws on it.
Yeah, I heard about that too.
And Walmart as well.
GameStop, man, all I got to say is GameStop better be fucking taking notes, because they're heading in
they're next on the chopping block.
Oh, most definitely. And
they're prepared.
They have no fucking idea either. It's hilarious.
Oh, no.
Oh, they know. I used to work at GameStop.
I would have modified my behavioral and customer service policies then if I knew what was coming. It seems like they don't.
No, they just seem to be like 20-year-old students that don't know anything about games, except for the odd exception.
Well, I mean, when I was working at GameStop, the manager that I was working under went to a big convention with all the fucking bigwigs. I don't know how big your fucking wig is if you're working for goddamn GameStop, but that's another rant. But anyways... So they go to this big convention, and he told me privately, he's like, I talked to the new vice president, because that was in 2007, they had just appointed a new vice president. And he basically privately confided to him that he knows that the ride is going to be short. It's coming to an end here. pretty soon because companies are catching on with the fucking DLC and the day one bonuses for people that buy new copies and blah. He knows they're not going to be able to get away with ripping off the game industry with impunity for very long. So
I can't believe it's lasted this long.
I can't either. I can't.
People are suckers. It's unbelievable.
The thing is, I still can see them going and scooping up Game. Like, I really can.
Yeah.
Just because the minute that I heard about Game pretty much going the way of the shitter, I was just like, when's GameStop going to swoop in and take them out? Because that's pretty much like what they do. They're just like, the pecking order is, if you're even hobbling around, we're going to fucking take you out and then put our name where yours is. I mean, all they got to do is add stop to it, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, unless it's Game Crazy, because they couldn't buy up Game Crazy because they were their biggest competition and they risked a monopoly hearing. Which
Antitrust, yeah.
I'm surprised they didn't get nailed with antitrust for the shit they did before with fucking EB Games and Funko Land and Babbage's and all the companies that they gobbled up several years
Well, the tax
back.
code is a funny thing. If you file papers in a slightly different order, they don't catch on to that for quite a while.
Oh, definitely.
You think they'd catch on when there's a GameStop next to every Starbucks on every street corner, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you'd think so.
Dude, I went into a mall. Actually, there was 2 malls up around my area, and because there was a GameStop and an EB Games in there, once they bought them out, it was just 2 GameStops in the mall. It was really fucking weird.
That's nothing. That's nothing, dude. For a while here, there's a place called Metro Center out here in Phoenix. It was a big old mall. It's kind of gone downhill now. But anyways, they used to have a GameStop, an EB Games, a Babbage's, and a Funko Land in there. And there was a GameStop on the outside of the mall. So they all got bought up. Within the span of a year, they all turned to fucking GameStop.
Well,
like 6 GameStops competing for business at the same goddamn mall. What the fuck?
It's the same over here because there's another side to the story. GameStation could go down as well because back, I think it was about 2007, Game bought up all of the GameStation stores.
Good times.
So if that goes down, they go down as well. And they also bought another company called Gameplay, which they are now predominantly online, but they used to have stores around the country as well. So there's
an independent chain here that's called Gameplay.
Yeah. So
GameStop will be online before long.
Oh, GameStop's already got the dirty little paws over here anyway in terms of an online store. And
that's why I would believe GameStop trying to get a hold of the remaining debt and stock from Game, because then they can just buy it and liquidate everything.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And if GameStop do buy all of the games, I hope to God that they keep the name Game and they keep the fucking loyalty system going. Because
I don't think they will. I think that they'll just close. They'll try and get out of all their leases early and then liquidate the stock.
Yeah, but if we get a GameStop store in England,
oh boy,
I'm saying this now live on the internet. I will not be paying anything for anything at GameStop. I'm saying that now.
So you're saying you'll become a thief? You'll just
No, I'm boycotting.
You get a little thin mustache.
I'm boycotting GameStop. That's part and parcel of what I'm trying to say. That's it.
Hey man, there's always Amazon.com. That's a good place for games.
Exactly.
Hey,
Amazon.
I'm with you, man. I've been boycotting GameStop for about 2 years and some change.
My only problem with that is
no effect.
with these new games they're coming out with, a lot of times Amazon has pre-order bonuses that aren't as good as the GameStop ones. Like when Deus Ex Human Revolution came out, they had 2 different download packs. One was for GameStop and one was for Amazon. The Amazon one was pretty bitchin', but all it was a silenced sniper rifle and a shotgun and some extra dollars. And the GameStop one, you got a whole extra DLC mission.
The thing is, that isn't something you can even like sit on the lap of Amazon. That's more like the publishers of the game
Yeah.
who are just like, all right, let's go and divvy out all the shit that's already finished and try to go and get people to pre-order this game early. And then everybody that didn't get it from said store has to go and download it separately, even though we already know it's sitting on the fucking disc.
Well, we got that
Douchebags.
over here. We got 3 editions of Deus Ex Human Revolution. We got the standard one, the augmented one, and the big fuck off nice one with the figure inside. The extra DLC that came with it, all it was exactly what you mentioned: the mission, a couple of weapons, and a couple of stim packs.
Yep.
So
All shit that is already in the game.
yeah, it's just
Yeah.
when I redeemed the code and downloaded it, it was literally 134 kilobytes.
Yeah.
Yep,
But at
that's
least-
because
at
it's
least
disc locked content.
Exactly.
Yep, and it was all probably on the disc. But the thing is, at least
Absolutely.
it wasn't quite as egregious as Mass Effect 3
Ugh.
with the fucking removing a quarter of the goddamn game. Oh, and a Prothean squad mate, because that's not fucking relevant to the main story. They're just one of the core pillars of the fucking narrative of the Mass Effect series. Let's cut out the Prothean squad mate. But anyways, so they at least it's not quite on that level. It's just
No.
one little side mission.
Oh yeah, one little
at the
side
very
mission.
least. But I mean, you know, back on track is, if game does go away and GameStop does kind of come in and Snively Whiplash fucking takes over shit. Exactly.
That's
And
a good laugh.
basically they throw all the fucking fans onto the railroad tracks and everything. I mean, it's just gonna fucking suck. But at the same point, GameStop is pretty much nearing its end, and they know that. There's no way around it because their business model is fucked because of their own haphazard, greedy, dumb bullshit decisions.
Yeah.
Well, let's face it, their business model was outdated out of the gate, but they were fueled by nostalgia.
That's pretty much like most gamers nowadays.
Yeah.
And then they got rid of the nostalgia because
And now they try to bring it back in the form of loyalty points. Don't you love that shit?
oh yeah, you can buy $20,000 worth of merchandise and get a copy of Super Mario Brothers for the NES.
Yeah.
Hey.
You know, it's a rare game. It's very old.
Oh no.
Yeah,
Yeah.
super rare because it's on Nintendo and that's old.
Yeah. That's old. That's retro.
Oh yeah.
That's a hardcore game for hardcore gamers like myself.
Oh yeah.
My point of view on the retro thing, if it comes on a disc, it's not retro.
No, you're right though. Except for PS1.
PS1 just
I
barely
don't
because that was
think-
very, very early technology.
Yes.
You know, I don't even think that is all that. If you want to talk about fucking discs and shit, maybe some of the Atari Jaguar games. It's about
Okay.
as far as
Hey,
I'll
hey,
go.
hey.
Here's the thing: those aren't
we're
really
getting off
games.
topic now.
Doesn't mean nostalgic.
Right, so we've got the news out of the way now. Let's move on a bit. Games we've all been playing. So I think I'll start off with this one because I've been pretty much been PSP heavy this past couple of days. Currently playing Phantasy Star Portable.
Cool.
Playing that up until yesterday when this dropped to my doorstep. Lords of Arcana. So I'm
Good
loving
game.
it.
I love some Fantasy Star, man.
Oh.
I don't know.
Fantasy
People don't
Go on.
play enough Final. I almost called it Final Fantasy Star. People don't play enough Fantasy Star.
I'd patent that. Might be a future crossover game.
I know, right?
Yeah, you gotta be
Watch
careful
out!
with
I
that.
just
No,
gave-
just get yourself FinalFantasyStar.com and then they'll have to buy it back from you.
Ugh.
Well,
Could it
anyway.
be Final Fantasy with a fucking PH. I don't know. Anyway.
Oh.
So, what was the other one? Arcana. Your face?
Lords of Arcana.
Oh, okay. I thought you said Arcana Heart. I'm like, uh oh.
I've got Arcana Hearts.
I don't know. That's like a Lolita game. I'm not so sure about it.
Uh,
It's like, let's get all these pink little underage girls together and show their underpants. There's nothing creepy about this.
yeah, look at it a bit. Yeah,
Not in Japan anyway.
not in Japan. And the last game I've been playing is the Force Unleashed, the Ultimate Sith Edition, because I found it pretty cheap, so I thought I'm having it.
Yeah, that still blows me away that fucking The Force Unleashed... Was it The Force Unleashed or The Force Unleashed 2 that won in 2010 for Game of the fucking Year on the VGAs? What the hell was that?
I
The
think
VGAs are stupid as shit.
I This is the fucking same award banquet that gave Madden the Game of the Year the first 2 years it was held.
Oh my god. That's been a yearly. You could just imagine the Madden people that made it. It was like, oh, the VGAs are coming around. We've made 50 billion games before. Well, let's see how we do this year. We won.
You want to know what I want to do? I want to fucking just take this segment of the podcast, send it to the ass clowns at the fucking VGAs who decided on the winners, and just send them the, an entire clip of us laughing at their fucking blatant stupidity and obvious, like, we have no clue what games are that, aren't super popular. Oh my god, they're so stupid.
But on behalf of the entire podcast, I'd like to say that we'd be more than happy to accept a Lifetime Achievement Award.
Yeah.
I know. We'd be more than happy to accept your ad revenue, game failers.
And then we'll do like Brendan Fraser did in Airheads. We'll kind of wipe it on our ass and throw it back at him.
But I mean, guys, looking at the head of the editorial board of fucking game failers, the droop-eyed cockbag fucking Jeff Keighley, are we really surprised? Really?
Yeah.
Really, guys? This guy didn't know that Final Fantasy XIV had been released in 2010? Was it released? No, it was released
2011, I think it was.
I don't know.
I honestly thought it was the end of 2010.
We'll look it
I
up.
thought it was 2010.
We'll look it up and
Anyways.
I'll put an annotation somewhere.
It doesn't matter because I didn't really dig it, so.
Yeah, it's obviously not something that was all on our top 10 list.
No.
Right, so I'm going to pass on the torch to... Go on, Yellkaos. What games have you been playing?
My games are so fucking boring. I just got into the 3DS, and you did that video about how you're underwhelmed by it, and that's totally fucked my thinking. So, I got myself Mario Kart 7, Super Mario Land 3D, and Tetris Axis because I'm being safe about it. But and that's where I'm at, and I'm enjoying the Nintendo eShop a little. That's kind of an underwhelming service, but...
IT Switch Force.
I'm getting it. Just I got to make some more progress on Pushmo and Mutant Muds. I'm actually enjoying those quite a bit. But Dylan's Rolling Western doesn't look like it's even worth looking at.
No.
Wait. Did we just lapse back into the news section? Because I think that was a headline right there. Nintendo makes an underwhelming online service. Will wonders never cease?
I have my own theories about that. Actually, this is kind of that. I shouldn't be surprised. This is kind of what you get when the the president of your U.S. operations used to be the president of the Cheesecake Factory.
Speaking of which, maybe we should lapse back into news for a second, because Bobby Kotick was made the CEO of fucking Coca-Cola recently.
Oh god.
Bobby,
Oh god.
Bobby fucking Activision Kotick is the head of Coca-Cola. As if you needed more reasons to drink Pepsi.
Oh god.
I'm safely gonna have to just stick with Mountain Dew and avoid cola altogether.
I know, right?
I'm happy with Pepsi, so
We'd also be happy to accept a Jolt Cola endorsement anytime now.
And if anybody has a lifetime supply of Surge somewhere, please send it to my place.
No. We'll need 3 cases of Crystal Pepsi, and
I'm pretty sure that he should have just. Surge is still around. It's just called Vault now.
Vault.
No, dude, they got rid of that too.
They got rid of Vault.
What was it called now?
Dead fucking serious.
Amp.
I blame Al Qaeda.
No.
I think terrorists took all of our Surge and Vault.
Oh my god. Can we get back on topic? We're fucking horrible.
Yeah.
We're terrible at this.
That's games that I have been playing.
Right.
Is your 50 up to?
Who's...
No. So what? Okay, Yellkaos. What else you been playing, man?
That's all. That's why I passed it on to you, my good friend.
Oh, you passed it on to me. I apologize.
I did.
Okay. I do what I can. I've, as I mentioned earlier, I've been playing through all the Splinter Cell games in sequential order.
Yay.
And I was severely underwhelmed by Splinter Cell, which I mentioned on Twitter. It's aged about as well as I mentioned earlier, Lindsay Lohan. It's not a very good game at all. It's fucking... Any game where you can't save any fucking time you want, where it's fucking checkpoint-based stealth. Oh. And you gotta be so careful where you put these goddamn checkpoints. Because... Like Splinter Cell, the later Splinter Cell games, the checkpoints are put in at fairly logical locations. But this game, it's like, hey, you're going to start out the level in a shark's fucking stomach, and you have to sneak your way through his digestive tract and out his fucking ass. and then you get a checkpoint at the end. It's like, what the fuck, man? So
Mash the X button to leave his butthole.
Why does that remind me of like towards the end of the Shawshank Redemption?
Sam Fisher crawled.
It's just not.
That's
epic.
3 football fields.
Oh god. Right, what else you been playing, friend?
Oh gosh, what else? I've been rocking some more Deus Ex Human Revolution because I'm trying to wash the taste of Mass Effect 3 out of my mouth. And Mass Effect 3 was fucking god awful, but I'm about to release a review on that, so that'll pretty much cover everything on that subject.
Well, sum it up in 3 words.
Sum it up in 3 words.
Fuck this shit.
Cock in ass.
Right. Right.
That would be it. No, endless Cerberus waves. That would be what it is, pretty much. It's like, hey, you know what would be awesome here is if after we threw 20,000 Cerberus troops at the player, we threw 20,000 more Cerberus troops at the player.
Oh, God.
Game of the fucking year. Jesus. But I fucking hated Mass Effect 3. It was an objectively bad game, not just measured against Mass Effect 2, but it was genuinely an awful game on a lot of basic gameplay levels. Never mind the fucking ending. I won't even touch that.
We'll save that for your review.
Actually, believe it or not, I don't talk about the ending in the review because I make it a point not to.
Fair play. Fair play.
Anyways.
Anything else?
No, I mean just all the Splinter Cell games in fucking order, and I haven't gotten to Chaos Theory yet. That'll be fucking fun, but and I'm not gonna play Conviction because fuck that noise.
Conviction was actually a pretty good game, I thought. But
you're out of your mind.
But but
get back in your mind.
If they called it, no, let me finish. It was a pretty good game without the Splinter Cell name on it. So if you call it Conviction, then maybe.
Yeah, you might have a point there. As a game outside of the Splinter Cell series, it was well executed, I guess.
Yeah.
But as a Splinter Cell game, it was dicks. It was a bag of dicks. It was a hole filled with bags and bags and bags of dicks.
Dicks just falling out of every hole in that bag, and just you see them all down the street. People are just kicking them down the road. They don't even give a fuck no more. Poor street cleaners.
An excess of dicks, if you will.
Oh,
and in San Francisco, no one goes to work.
Because of all the dicks.
It becomes a national holiday suddenly. Some people call it Mardi Gras. I just call it disturbing, but that's just me.
So, AlphaOmegaSin, what games have you been playing?
I've been playing the same shit over and over. I seriously got like I'm about to do another pickups video. I swear to fuck, dude. I went out and I have like games for every single random console. I have PC, I have TurboGrafx 16, PS3, PS2, PS1, PC. There's a lot of P going on there. P. But I mean the actual games that I've been investing all my time into, I'm still fucking about in Yakuza Dead Souls. I'm trying to go 100% on the game. It's kind of rough. Certain things just require so much damn time, but I'm enjoying that. Let's see. I started up Tales of Graces, but I keep going back to Yakuza Dead Souls because obviously I want to get that finished. I played through Bayonetta and Red Faction with my girlfriend for a little bit over the weekend, and that's pretty much it.
The original Red Faction?
No, the Red Faction Guerrilla on PS3.
Ooh.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
I do miss
awesome.
Red Faction 1, though, because I remember playing the multiplayer on that, and I would just make tunnels and then run through them and, like, absolutely demolish the fucking stage because that was the most amusing aspect of it.
Whatever you do, don't go anywhere near the vicinity of fucking Red Faction Armageddon.
Oh, don't.
Yeah, I was talking about that because I forget who it was that mentioned it, but I was just like, Armageddon, I got to play it, and it's like a completely different game after playing Guerrilla. I mean, I really enjoyed Guerrilla, but Armageddon is just like very linear and just it doesn't seem like it was even finished. It seemed like they had like half-assed ideas and just said fuck it. And I was just like, eh.
It was a quick cash-in. It was a quick cash-in is what it strikes me as. They just were like, hey, let's keep this franchise going.
It was.
They want to keep it relevant while the name still held some kind of like monetary value to them. So they just went and churned that out, which I think is a shame because I really enjoyed the open world and all the destruction I could cause in Guerrilla and everything.
No, Guerrilla's a fantastic game, man. I mean, it's not the story's a little derivative.
I don't even care. I don't think the story exists as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, it's like fuck the story, but you just want to run around blowing buildings up and shit and doing the demolition trials.
Dude, I have one question for you. Could you ever fucking get into an online match with that game?
No.
Yeah. I used to do team death matches all the fucking time in that.
Seriously?
Online is a blast. But
dude,
I don't
you're
think...
fucking lucky. I literally went on. I shit you not. I think it was about half an hour. I found 2 people. That was it. And at the very bare minimum, you need 5.
Don't forget where RazörFist lives. He lives in a place that is screeching hellish heat in the summertime, so people don't go outside.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. It was a while back. We're talking like 2009 or something.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's a good point. We're in 2012, and I'm playing like an old ass game, but I couldn't help it because I found it for $7, and I was just like, fuck it, why not? I was like, dude, I'll fucking rock this game. This is cool, and I was playing around with it, and I mean, my girlfriend, she's went through and she's beaten the game before, and she was like, let's play it again. I'm like, fuck it, why not? But yeah,
the online's cool. I mean, there's this one where you have to destroy the fortress of the other team, and one of the members of the team has a gun that reconstructs the fortress. So you gotta you can kill the people and stuff, but that's not where you get your points. You get your points from destroying the fucking building. It's just really cool. It's an interesting dynamic. It's more than just running around centering the fucking screen and pushing a button.
You could build an entire game around that. That's actually
you
a cool
absolutely
concept.
could. You could. There were some brilliant ideas going on in Red Faction Guerrilla. I just wish the story had been a little more existent.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, it's one of those games, though. Like, to me, you play it to play it because it's genuinely fun. But, I mean, I love that. And playing through Bayonetta again for... this was the 3rd time now I was playing through it. I fucking love that game, dude. Like, I do, hands down. I genuinely will say I think it's one of the best action games I've ever played.
Mm.
I mean, I know there's people out there that don't think, it's super great, but it really is, I'm riding its dick right now, I know that, but, it's... I can't help it. It's got extremely great control. The graphics still hold up very, very well. I mean, the stage designs, some of the boss battles and shit, are absolutely out of hand. The story is kind of confusing and shit, but it's very out there and over the top, like typical Devil May Cry game. So I dig it.
So it's got it's got the AlphaOmegaSin's seal of approval.
Yeah, dude, I was gonna have that game reviewed, and then that's when my computer crashed, so I lost all my review footage and said fuck it.
Yeah, but anyway, so we've all got a nice fair selection of games that we're playing. So let's move on to the main topic of the podcast. After about an hour's worth of talking absolute,
of
ramble babble.
It's called banter. It's character development. It's healthy.
Yes, I agree. So let's move on to the topics of conversation. We have got Nintendo's fall from grace, what we want for future consoles, and we've also got the really cool idea of the Neo Geo X handheld. So, where should we start then, hey?
I think Yellkaos needs to start it off with this Nintendo topic, because I reckon he's got a lot to say. And I use the phrase "I reckon" in a sentence.
Well, that means it's even more poignant when you do.
I know.
I also reckon.
We all reckon.
I second the reckon.
We all reckon.
Yes.
That's enough reckon. Let's get on with it.
Yes. We all dead reckoned.
So.
Yeah, goodness gracious.
Take a deep breath.
Well, okay.
Clear the throat.
Hook, cut it, I had to clear my throat.
Spaceballs.
Anyway, well, for those of you who watch me on YouTube, youtube.com/Yellkaos, I did a little bit of a pickup video, and I was discussing about this piece of shit called the Action Max I got a hold of. I haven't even looked it up on YouTube, but just by looking at the box, it looks like a piece of shit. So I haven't bothered. But I picked up a VHS copy of The Wizard. Who remembers The Wizard?
Unfortunately, me.
Yeah.
Of
Well,
Oz?
no, the one with Fred Savage with the Nintendo commercial that's about an hour and 40 long.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Picked up that one with featuring Fred Savage, Bo Bridges, Christian Slater. A lot of high dollar names in that movie for it being such a piece of shit. But then again, how dare, Bo Bridges being a piece of shit, you lie. But anyway, now, I think SaintedMagnus and I were having a discussion about this the other day, and I think this is interesting because that film, and I use the term film very loosely, is a snapshot in time. That's around, I want to say, 1993. A snapshot in time to a time when Nintendo, or, in certain circles known as the Big N, where Mario lives, ruled the fucking planet. They had their own cereal, they had their own soda pop, they had television shows, video games, of course. Not to mention all the shit they had done previous to that. And now we look at Nintendo, who are a mere shadow of their former glory. And now we were talking before we came on air about where that began. And my honest belief is that begins with the Nintendo 64. While I love the Nintendo 64, and I will never badmouth that controller because, when they were new, they were fantastic. They were, very revolutionary at the time. In fact, I think most Nintendo controllers have been, rather revolutionary for their time. But my belief is, and based on what I've read, the things that Iwata has said, the things that Miyamoto has had to say, and any number of people who like to comment on that period of history, they all seem to have one belief or another where it came from. But the reason I say N64 is everyone speaks of the N64 in such high reverence because it was revolutionary at the time. It's a very complex and powerful machine, and I feel it was never truly used to its full capability, primarily because it was complicated, and they say that was to discourage shittier developers from developing for it. It's like, well, you decide who develops for it. Fuck, whoever it was.
This all sounds really familiar, though, doesn't it? I mean, this sounds an awful lot like the PS3.
Oh, absolutely.
But when I'm hearing this, exotic hardware, the first party ends up making up most of the fucking software. Independent developers don't like to make games for it because it's needlessly complex. Yeah, basically.
It's great. But my point being was that, when especially when Miyamoto would give interviews talk about how complicated, the hardware was and how it could, display so many polygons and do this and do that. And I think they made a piece of hardware that people found just, while very powerful, just too big of a pain in the ass to develop for, so no one really did. And then by the time the GameCube came along, that machine was supposedly made very simple for anybody to be able to program for. And if you look at the list of games for the GameCube, you'll find out that, yes, everybody and their mother developed a game for this. And does that mean they're all good? No, not in the slightest. No. But I think by that time, a lot of people had given up on Nintendo, assuming that the GameCube would be a pain in the ass, let's not bother. And I think that's kind of what set the tone for the GameCube's rather short lifespan.
Nah, I think the GameCube really was fucked in the ass by the fact that the PS2 had so much irrational hype going for it. I mean,
Right?
You remember the E3 where fucking Snoop Dogg is showing up to whore PlayStation 2s and fucking...
Yep.
They were getting all these celebrities and shit to show up like, the PS2's the new cultural revolution. I'm like, the PS2's a piece of shit. It always has been. I hate the PS2. It has shitty games. It has lots of shovelware. It's like the Wii of last generation. But that's my opinion.
That's what I don't understand, the unreasonable amount of praise for that specific time in the PlayStation 2. It seems to me that most people forget, okay, Nintendo is a video game, licensor, publisher, manufacturer. Sony, on the other hand, has been dominating electronic entertainment and media for about 25 years up to that point. So they had money, every fucking telephone you would come across. A Sony, your stereo, Sony, VCR, Sony. I think they made, probably made fucking, microwave ovens in Japan. They had the money to do that kind of push. And I think, well, if you see how popular Pepsi and Coke are, you'll see people will do whatever the TV tells them to.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Shameless product placement. But
And then now, one thing I think interesting, let's jump on the Wii for just one moment.
that
because
was
I know
what I was
somebody-
going to jump on, actually.
Now everyone talks about, well, the Wii is just two GameCubes stacked on top of each other. I'm glad everyone figured this out because it took them a long time to get it. But
Yeah.
I think that was actually a really good, business strategy. Hey, let's get rid of all these goddamn GameCubes we never used. And, we'll, that motion control we've been trying to get down since, 1984. Let's actually put some money on that and see what we can do. And I'm happy to say it worked out. But at what cost?
Well, it worked out, but it was the Tickle Me Elmo of 2007, and then after the Tickle Me Elmo craze is over, who the fuck owns the Tickle Me Elmo? Everyone does, but you can't buy it a second time, and there's no software for this fucking machine anymore. At least none that's good. Very little that's good at any rate.
Well, let's just say on that point there, I've just recently bought myself a Nintendo Wii.
Congratulations.
For mainly some of the RPGs that are actually good, right?
Yeah.
But
Talking about Project
in terms of
Ball.
looking for games that, different games that I thought I'd give them a shot, see what they're like. I went onto Amazon, I just clicked the Wii, and all the games came listed. About, I'd say, a good 25% of the games I would actually play. The rest are just all fucking Dance Dance Revolution games, or I don't know, fucking how to chop food, Cooking Man with 20,000. It was just games you're not fucking interested in.
Carnival Game
50,000
3.
party games.
Oh.
It is kind of obvious, though, isn't it? They said, "Oh, well, now it's twice as powerful as the Wii." I'm like, yeah, it has twice the shitty library that the GameCube had.
Oh no. Why do we need all these fucking games of like, oh, I've got a dog, what are we going to call it? I don't know, shout the name into your fucking Wiimote. There's no fucking microphone. Oh well, we'll just type it in. And then it takes about 15 years to learn the fucking commands. And then
Yeah, well,
Go on.
But for every game like that, for every you'll have. I think the problem is the ratio is disproportionate. For every like 50 shitty Carnival Games sequel, you'll have a Silent Hill Shattered Memories, where they got like a great control scheme and they used I love this is a brilliant idea to have. You had static when you were walking around Silent Hill and you would encounter a monster before.
Yeah.
Well, now the Wiimote has a little speaker on the back, and you can actually hear the static emanate from your Wiimote, which is fucking brilliant. And the motion controls actually make some discernible fucking sense, and the graphics are pretty good for a Wii title anyways.
Oh, no more heroes for me using that. You get phone calls throughout, at certain points of the game.
Yeah.
It actually, instead of it coming through the TV, it comes through the Wiimote, and the only way you can hear it is put the Wiimote to your head. But, makes it feel
Brilliant.
like a phone.
Yeah.
just like the Intellivision.
Yes.
What's fascinating to me is, oh god damn it! Now I'm all pissed off. What you did to me?
Get on with it.
No, I find it interesting that the NES library contains somewhere in the realm of about, I want to say in the low 800s, maybe the upper 700s, as far as amount of titles released. And that was from the period of 1984 to 1994. Meanwhile, I think the Wii has 980 titles from 2006 until 2012.
Yeah. Open wide and say shovelware.
Yep.
Absolutely. And what's funny is the balls they have. They know they're releasing value software at best, but they're releasing it at full price just to see how fucking stupid consumers are.
Well,
Basically.
it's like whenever if they want to sell the system, they just put a fucking Mario title on it. How many fucking Mario titles are on the Wii? And yet some of them are like
at least
fucking
10.
ancient. I mean, well, here's an example, right? I was out and about game shopping. New Super Mario Brothers on the Nintendo DS, right?
Yeah.
When it was
That's a good one.
fantastic game. When it was released, it was £30, which is about $50, right?
Mhm.
Fast forward to 2012, Right, this game, bear in mind, came out in 2006. So it's a good 6 years.
It couldn't have been that long ago, was it?
Yeah, serious.
Yep.
I saw it in the second-hand store, second-hand section of my local game shop. £30 pre-owned.
Some games go up in value like that. Like if you go into a GameStop,
And that is so unreasonable.
Let's hope that you don't have to go into a GameStop anytime soon, Magnus.
Oh.
But if you have to go into a GameStop sometime in the near future, Twilight Princess for the fucking GameCube is still $30 used.
I want that game for the GameCube. That's like my holy grail of my GameCube collection.
Oh, it's a great game.
Even though I'm going to end up getting it on the pissing Wii. See how I use my words there? Yeah.
See, now you can use
fabulous.
Now you can play Skyward Sword though, which I've heard is fantastic.
Oh, I'm going for the.
It's a very good game.
I'm going for the balls deep.
Oh yeah, you got it for $20, jerk.
What a dildo.
Yeah. Speaking of dildos, I'm going for the balls deep edition. With the gold Wiimote, the fucking art book, the whole fucking shebang. I'm going balls deep for that game.
That'd be great if it was Skyward Sword Balls Deep Edition.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I'll get a post-it note and I'll put it on there and I'll say, right, I'm unboxing the Balls Deep Edition of Skyward Sword.
Dude, so many people will tune in to watch that and be like, hey, wait a minute.
As we speak, that somebody is gonna fucking draw up a picture of Link's balls and then put them on Facebook.
Oh.
All you gotta do is roll 34 it. I guarantee it's there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, back to
I don't suggest people to do that, but still.
back to Nintendo falling from grace.
But yeah, and now we are where we are. Does anybody else have any idea how such a juggernaut could have been stopped dead in their tracks?
Virtual
I have
Boy.
an idea. Virtual
The
Boy had
Virtual
nothing
Boy
to do
was,
with it.
I think the Virtual Boy was a minor smudge on their reputation.
Minus Smudge.
Because nobody bought it and they didn't.
And there
produce
weren't that many
many
units produced.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that barely even know it exists, to be honest.
I think
They
a
were able
bigger
to cut it out
problem.
really quickly.
I think bigger problems are like with the 3DS where they overprojected their fucking sales and then they got a gajillion produced and a lot of people bought them, but nowhere near as many as they thought would.
Yeah.
And that hurts them more. Although now the 3DS is coming around because it's a good system and it's got some good games now.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
See, the thing that's ultimately, I think, really kicked the shit out of Nintendo is the console race. Not so much a handheld race, because they've had that shit locked down forever.
oh yeah,
But the console race, the thing that's really, like, absolutely butchered them. I won't ever say Nintendo's failed, because, I mean, every one of their system will sell. There'll always be some kind of killer games for it. And there'll also be something revolutionary about each console that they bring out and, bring something to the table that everybody will enjoy. But the thing that since Nintendo 64 and forward that they've lacked immensely is they lost third party after the 16-bit era. And that's what they used to have. Like, they had that, and then some. They had more games than everybody. And they had the best graphics on Super Nintendo, like, bar none. I mean, look at Donkey Kong Country and Star Fox if you need to see, like...
Look at Super Mario World. That looks fantastic, doing almost nothing.
Exactly. But it's
still,
like third
20
party.
years later.
They're just lacking third party, and that's the thing that really kills them. Because, I mean, look at the current generation right now. I understand that the hardware, can't compare. Like, the Wii can't compare to PS3 and 360. No shit. It's a dead horse. We could beat it all fucking day. But the fact is that there's many games that are multi-plat that go on the 360, PS3, even PSP, onto the Vita now, and on PC. And none of them can go onto the Wii because it is not strong enough to fucking handle it.
And that's it. And it's not even necessarily graphics, because if it were just textures or something like that, or polygons, then they could work around that. But the real problem is they just plain don't have any memory, and they can't have that many. Like, good example. They finally brought Dead Rising to the Wii. Dead Rising was one of the games that I would use as an argument for why the Wii is kind of a mistake, because you can't have that many zombies on screen. And God bless them, they tried. There's still a lot of zombies on screen with some trickery thrown in.
Yeah.
But you can't have that vintage Dead Rising on the 360 experience that you could have, with the other consoles. with all that just sea of zombies that you could see the whole fucking game.
No, I mean, I give them credit for trying, because, I mean, admittedly, it's one of those things I was like, I don't see this working. But, I mean, it was a noble effort at the end of the day. But at the same point, if somebody said, will you pick up Dead Rising on Wii or on 360? I'm just going to keep telling you I have it on 360, so I'll just keep playing it on 360 because it's literally just the better version, you know, and somebody can be like, that's biased, and it's like, no, this is just how it is.
Opinion.
It really just plays better this way, you know, and it's something that, you know, again, I could tell somebody this all day, and it's the truth. I mean, they lost a lot of third party, and I truly fucking hope that with like the Nintendo Wii U, I mean, their launch so far for that looks fucking amazing.
Oh, they've got some good games on that.
Point of order.
Yeah, if they can lock down third party with the Wii U, you know, even though they're going to be the first out the fucking gate, you know, and obviously their hardware is going to look limited, potentially limited. We don't know that 100%, but you know, it may look limited by comparison to when the PS4 or Xbox 720 or whatever fuck is coming out. But if they get third party in the bag like they have with the handheld market, you know, they're pretty much made. Because if anything will fucking teach you, look at the Game Boy's history. Graphics, and it didn't mean dick. You went and got a Game Boy because it had the fucking games, and that's what mattered at the end of the day.
Exactly.
Well, point of order. Speaking as a Nintendo fan, I think a lot of people are being very unrealistic about this. If you haven't figured out by now that Nintendo consoles are designed for Nintendo games, you've just clearly not been paying attention. While I think that, yeah, they have been lacking third-party support, is anybody who's talking to me or listening to me right now really breaking your balls to play Madden on the Wii U?
No.
No.
Let's be fucking realistic about this, okay? Nintendo has dug themselves a nice niche. They almost lost it. I think this year they project to lose $2 billion. You know, hopefully they'll get that back. Huh?
Yeah. I have no idea how either, because they
built too many of the 3DS, and they're losing money having to store all the 3DSs they didn't sell.
Ridiculous.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like you said, they made a cajillion of them, and now they still have a bazillion of them.
Yep.
You know, so let's be realistic about that. Okay, that is not what I'm looking at it for. I was talking to SaintedMagnus about this
Again.
about how again we talk a lot, you know.
Oh no.
And I feel that I want to see where things are going to go next. I really don't. I'm comfortable with that. I'm not against it in any way, but I've gotten used to the idea. Nintendo fucks up, and people like me are the only ones who come to their aid to buy games and keep them afloat.
And it was stupid.
I wish they would get that through their thick fucking skulls, because they've burned the fans on a number of occasions, and in some instances I think they think it's funny.
It was stupid on a lot of levels with the 3DS launch, because why did the Wii become such a crazy phenomenon? Because they didn't produce enough, and people were talking about how they couldn't get them in stores and whatnot. That's like free marketing for you.
The brilliant marketing.
CNN's going to talk about that. Fox News, all these media outlets are going to talk about how the Wii is the new hot item to have, essentially. If you had done that with the 3DS and produced a little less, then you could have had that, and maybe it wouldn't have been a problem.
Exactly.
Well, that's the thing. I honestly think they thought this was going to be like the next Nintendo, and it was. It was, but it was short-lived. It came and it went, and then there's just a few hardcore people left. Myself, I'm one of those suckers that stuck on with the Wii, and I feel the same way about the 3DS. They expected way too much of it. They expected way too little of the fans. And most importantly, when are they going to get the idea that 3D is a fucking gimmick? They do it with TV, they do it with the movies, they do it. Who gives a shit about 3D? Does anybody really give a shit? Like, that's going to make the difference on whether or not you're going to enjoy watching Kobe Bryant is fucking 3D? You're going to have a whole going, whoa!
I think your eyes just ended up on my doorstep. Your eyes nearly went out of your head when you said that.
I think they did.
That's because they were in 3D.
Yeah, 3D!
That's true!
No, I've gone on record by saying I do not like 3D in video games. It's not necessary. Maybe at the cinema, but fucking at a knockdown price. But 3D in general, bye.
Yeah, you say you like it in the cinema. Let me take you to see Jaws 3D and tell me how you feel.
Oh.
The thing I really hate it in cinema too, especially what Sony Pictures is doing right now, which I'm sure has nothing to do with the fact that they produce more 3D televisions than anyone in the world, but doing the Sony Pictures thing where they require now all movies going forward that are released in 3D to have the word 3D in the fucking title. Yep, that's why Silent Hill 2 is going to be called, well, what is it? Silent Hill Revelations 3D. Whatever.
Well, that harkens back from the 50s, man. There was Plan 9 from Outer Space, and then there was Plan 9 from Outer Space 3D.
God awful.
Yeah, they used it way back in the day for it to sound like it was the future.
Yep, and it's still not the future. It was never the future. For Christ's sake, people were watching 3D movies in, what, the 50s?
Yeah,
I mean, come on, folks.
See, back then it was cool to sound like it was coming from the future and shit. Nowadays, to tack on 3D to a name just sounds gimmicky and lame.
Well, for me, with the 3DS, it seems some games use it, properly, and it's, that's neat. Is that what's going to make or break this piece of software? No. Sometimes it's cute, but it does have a labor on your eyes, I will say. It does wear the eyes.
Yeah.
Wait a bit.
Magnus, don't you feel that way?
Yes. Well, I'll be honest, right? I've got 4 games for my 3DS. I've got Super Street Fighter 4. I've got Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time 3D, Resident Evil Revelations, and Dead or Alive Dimensions. And not one of those games do I even think about putting the 3D on because I just don't need it.
But have you tried?
I've tried it. I tried Resident Evil Revelations in 3D. Even I did the whole thing where you max it out on the options, and I maxed it out actually on the 3DS, and it just hurt my eyes after 10 minutes. I don't want to play a game where it hurts my eyes after 10 minutes.
That's how it is for me.
It does. It takes getting used to. I mean, I play Mario Kart 7 with it, and it looks great. Does it really do anything extra? No, not really. It just, it's a little bit of something extra.
Yeah. So we're all in the same boat here with Nintendo. That since the 64, all the consoles have just been gimmicks, basically. Because you look.
Well, no. I will say one thing. I will say that Nintendo has that somehow they now have the balls to do. All they have to do is say a character, and then put the name of the console after it. Mario 64.
Oh.
And now they have, they could seriously call everything Tetris 3DS, Mario Kart 3DS, and everyone would know what they're talking about.
That's probably why they called it Mario Kart 7, because they got sick and tired of doing that.
Exactly. Well, they have, have Mario Kart DS and all that stuff, but that's, I don't know how that became like the standard for Nintendo, but it seems to work, and they're the only ones who can really do that. You wouldn't, necessarily see Dead or Alive, PlayStation 4. you wouldn't see that. It doesn't have that kind of ring to it, but I think Nintendo has kind of broken it into our skulls that they can do this and you can't.
Hey, also remember when they put Super before a whole bunch of things.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly, the exact same thing.
Dude, it works really well, though, but I'm one of those suckers, like, if you put Super or Ultra or Mega in front of something or at the end of something, I'm like, that's awesome.
Holy crap, it's an Ultra game!
Yeah, it's just like, automatically, it's just like, oh my god, I bet it's made of, like, laser cats and all types of other cool shit, and it just upchucks fucking Skittles and Mountain Dew, things I like. This will be great.
It's so awesome, it requires a further expletive.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's how important this piece of software is.
Yeah, it comes in a big-ass box because of all the punctuations and supers that are put on it. But anyway, close that part because we've got 2 more topics to go over, and I think we've got future consoles, well, what we want from future consoles, and Neo Geo X handheld.
I think we ought to go with the Neo Geo X
Almost.
next, just because we technically sort of talked about the future, and I think this will be a nice break from it.
Hold on, Alpha. You didn't say it right. The future.
Yeah, I gotta have the echo effect. Future.
Don't forget to take extra plutonium with you.
Right, so the Neo Geo X handheld. Take it
What do
away,
you think,
Alpha.
Oh, the Neo Geo X. I mean, I talked about this like briefly, pretty much just like that they announced it. But I mean, the big rumor going around still is the price point for it is going to be insanely fucking expensive. People are speculating it's going to be anywhere between 400 upwards of even 800, which is insane. And the thing is, a lot of people have even gone on to say that this is going to be competing in the handheld market, which I have to say I disagree with that for one major reason. This isn't going after the handheld market the same way that the Vita and the 3DS is. This is like, if you ever saw, they have like an all-in-one Sega Genesis handheld that's got like 25 Sega Genesis games on it, and also aka the Mega Drive games.
Yeah.
So it's got a bunch of Sega goodness on it. That's technically all it really is. It's kind of like a greatest hits piece of hardware.
It's a tribute to its former glory.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's technically what it is. And I mean, I'm genuinely a sucker for SNK products. Like, their hardware has always been top-notch stuff. Overpriced? Yes, very much so. But if they went and they priced this well, which that's what I'm still crossing my fingers and hoping that they're not that fucking stupid, because nobody in their right mind is going to pay that much when I could get all those fucking games on SNK Arcade Classics Volume 1 and 2 for like less than $10. So I would literally have to be like willing to throw my money away, which I'm not, because I have to pay fucking bills and I have other nerdy gaming goodness to get. So if these fucking idiots really think that they can sell it for that much and it's going to do well, I assure you 100% they are going to be fucking bargain basement fucking pieces of shit sitting on the internet waiting to be scooped up for like $50 within a month, because nobody's going to purchase them that quick.
And then about 12 years from now, they're going to be selling for $300.
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean, guys, if SNK hasn't gone out of business yet, come on. And look,
Well,
seriously, guys.
well, it's
How are they still around? Like,
hopes and dreams.
Metal Slug, that's how.
Metal Slug.
Yeah.
Yeah, Metal Slug 20,000.
Metal Slug is
just
what
look
keeps that fucking company alive. Is
mean,
anybody
I
really
wouldn't-
breaking their balls to play the newest edition of Neo Turf Master?
No.
There you
No,
go.
but I would be down for playing another King of Fighters. But, well, didn't the new one come out already?
Yeah, King of
yeah,
Fighters
it's
13.
good. It's a fantastic
It's
game.
apparently
Okay.
a very good game.
I couldn't remember if that one came out already. Okay, so that's something else I have to go and put on my fucking shopping list.
Yeah.
Another Samurai Showdown would be very nice.
Yes.
Mm.
And no, the thing is, they just released a Samurai Showdown like 2 years ago, and it was god awful. It's 3D.
So,
Oh,
Whoa,
unbelievable.
what?
Unbelievably bad.
Wait, okay, so they have another 3D one? Because I remember that they did one on the the Hyper Neo Geo 64 arcade cab.
Yeah, back in the day, there were a couple 3D Samurai Showdown games, I think. But no, the new one is 3D. It was, I don't remember if it was just an Xbox Live Arcade thing or what, but it's really, really awful. And you should check out the demo sometime, just if you want a good belly laugh.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm going to
Seriously.
have to check that out, because, I mean, I didn't even know about it, but, I mean, that might say something right there, because I usually get to hear, at the very least, about some of their stuff, like, Metal Slug 7. I was like, holy shit, when picked it up, played it, and was very happy.
It's great.
Oh,
What they
man.
need to do, what they really need to do with Samurai Showdown is do kind of an extension of what they're doing with King of Fighters, and do it an extremely stylized, like art style. Do it in 2D, but do it extremely stylized, maybe even painted, and just have it look really different from all the other fighting games out there, and just do it in 2D, and put as many characters, for Christ's sake, put as many characters as you can in there, because that's the problem the Samurai Showdown series keeps running into. You cut your audience in half when you cut out their favorite character.
that's
So
true.
it's like, you got to put more characters in. You can't be cutting Ganon out, or you can't be cutting. People are fans of these characters. Don't cut them out. Include people. You know what I mean?
And there's no reason to cut them out whenever you look at roster list of current gen fighting games that have like upwards of like 30 to 40 characters.
Yeah, except for Marvel vs. Capcom, because they're going to sell you those characters.
Yeah,
and
even though they're
Well,
on the disc.
they'll have them completed. They'll just keep them on the disc away from you, and then release like an ultimate super duper ultra fuck your wallet edition, and then you can go and buy them separately. It'll be lovely.
Well, I
Ultra
refuse to
capitalism
buy it.
edition.
Do people actually believe that there's differences between these editions of different games?
Only suckers.
Yes,
Yeah.
only
Because
people
it-
got more money than sense.
Well,
Oh, but-
anybody's got a basic understanding of economics or business would understand that it would cost them so much more money to manufacture all these different discs.
Oh, but what are you talking about, guys? In this version, Ryu's Fireball has -5 frames on it. That changes the game completely.
And
The entire time they are jerking it to the Street Fighter anime. the entire time.
The whole time. Oh yeah, Chun-Li, you're in the shower.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure even when Ken's on, they're like, "Oh, Ken, you have long hair. Just turn around." And whoa, that's a mess.
Oh god. I
And the
wish
chubby
they get
chase would have to be after E Honda.
I hope.
Oh yeah. Quick question pertaining to the Neo Geo X. I don't know if any of you know this because I don't know this, but are they offering any way to be able to obtain more games, or is it just the games that they have on there? Because they have an SD slot on there.
See, that's what I wanted. That's what I wanted to discuss, actually.
That's one question I had as well, actually.
Yeah. See,
if they can allow us to download games, I'd be like, well, that's not so bad. That's kind of cool, I guess. Like if they had like their own little built-in shop on there, and this thing's going to be like a Neo Geo store, which we kind of have that on the PSN store in a way.
Yeah.
But
Go on.
Keep going. Sorry.
Oh, I was just saying. I mean, I think that would be a good idea. You know, assuming that the price for the handheld is right, and that they're not trying to charge you like $20 a game or something silly.
well, my point of view is, any device that lacks any form of proprietary input port is probably not thinking about that because it's got 20 games already loaded. From what I've read, they've made no. They have not insinuated that there will be further software released for it, or at least exclusively for it. And it leads me to believe that either one, this is a novelty item, or B, if they are going to suggest, somehow getting it onto the system via, I think there is a USB port on it, or using the SD card slot, that's Piracy City, and that's exactly what killed the Dreamcast.
Yeah. Because
That's also one of the reasons why the PSP has been fucked from day one.
you can just literally just download custom firmware and put on an ISO and you're laughing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, dude, it's the emulation machine. That's why I tell people, like, you like PSP, then you'll love emulating too, because that's what
Yeah,
that
you
thing's
will.
built for, basically.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Even though.
But no, I mean,
I,
if they do that, I mean, genuinely, like, let's go and assume, like, safely assume, we'll put ourselves in a fucking magical world where everything is right, where this thing is priced correctly. Do you think that them offering the games via download in some kind of way would actually work for this, or do you think that it wouldn't, and people just hack the fuck out of it?
Well,
I'd call it an invaluable, very valiant effort, but no, I don't think so.
if they do get it to work and they price it just right, like Alpha keeps saying, it could actually be something special. But it's all going to be on the pricing. Because I, for one, I want to play Neo Geo games, but I don't want to pay the Neo Geo prices.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's the thing. And on top of that, these aren't new games. These are all games from, let's see, when was
Close
the
to 20 years ago.
We'll say
Yeah.
from the 90s. Safe
Yeah,
bet.
we basically have games that are from literally like 1990 and forward. We shouldn't be expected to pay a lot for them. I expect to pay anywhere between $5 to, at the very max, $7 for a game. I'm more comfortable with $5 because I'm a cheap prick. But the fact is that if they're just offering 20 games, I think that's okay. But just seeing that SD card slot there, a USB port and everything, it's like, well, what other plans do you have for this? You obviously have something else in the works. What the fuck? And now all we can do is, make assumptions and everything.
Well, that seems to be the way it is. Either they have nothing on the horizon, or they've got something big on the horizon.
Useless expansion modules, that's what it could be.
Yeah, they're probably going to
32X.
contract out Sega to design that.
Oh no.
Yeah. 32X Sega CD. Let's make it happen.
Oh yeah. Sega for the win.
Boy, they
Yeah,
make
I don't think they're being very realistic about it at all.
No. But
I'm hoping that it honestly is not a complete fluke. Like, I mean, there's a lot of people who are just like, I don't care about it, and I can understand people not giving a shit about it. Hell, there's even people commenting on my video about it that were just like, what is a Neo Geo? And that's the thing, is like, it's not an established franchise anymore. It's not very big.
Yeah,
it's
well,
got
because
the niche
arcades are gone. I
Yeah.
mean, that was the big place where they stamped their foot.
Well, sure.
No,
What's
I
a
mean,
Neo Geo? It's that thing at the laundromat.
dude. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what it was for me.
Yeah.
But
That's
the
where
thing
they are now.
they could potentially do really good with this and get their name out there just a little bit more so than they already are. if they really do price this right. Because I mean, I'm still a fucking fan of the Pocket Keller and then some. Like, it was an awesome handheld, and if they did this right, yeah, I'll go out and get it day one. You know, I'll set aside cash for it. But $700 out of your fucking mind? I'll like, no.
You know,
that just won't happen.
My chief concern is, who is this machine for? It is clearly not for older people. By that I mean, you know, people in our range and a bit older, you know, who are into, because, you know, the Vita is going after them. It's clearly not for kids because, you know, Nintendo's going after the kids with the 3DS. This is going to be for a very small fraction of the population, meaning people like us, people who are on YouTube, people who, you know, comprise a very, very small demographic, and that is not a good business model.
Don't underestimate. They have a huge. SNK is still relatively successful in Japan.
Very
Oh,
much.
absolutely.
With the Japanese game industry doing not quite so well over here, they have become pretty insular and kind of going just after their Japanese market. A few companies have just outright stopped marketing their games in the U.S.
Oh, that's true.
And
Well, that's the thing. Either this thing,
even companies like Konami they're cherry picking what titles they market here in the States.
Metal Gear, Metal Gear, Metal Gear.
Yeah.
Zone of the Enders.
Well, the fact remains, this thing is either not powerful at all, or it's extremely powerful, and they've got, you know, some major software cooking in the background. They're going to probably throw it on the market for this holiday season coming up and see how it does.
I don't know. It sounds like they have some major fucking black tar heroin cooking up in the background, quite frankly. If they think this is a good idea, seriously, at a $400 price point minimum, seriously?
If they do that, then...
For something like that, and I mean, you're getting 20 games for it, and even if you go and price out the games like $5 a pop, you know, it like, you can literally go onto a PS3, which most people have a PS3, and you can go get them. If for people that don't have a PS3, there's plenty of the fucking games sitting on like the internet
on every
in general
platform
that you can just pick up, you know,
Yeah.
and you can get anywhere. And it's like, you know, you have to make this to sell. And if you make it too expensive, the only people who are going to go after it are collectors and resellers.
No, that's
That's it.
true.
The interesting thing to me would be is when I remember when there was first news of the PlayStation Vita. I remember people saying, "Oh, did you hear about the PlayStation Vita?" And then someone else said, "Oh yeah, well, what can it do?" That's the first place they went. How is it powerful? Is there going to be any games for it? They worried about that sort of thing. The only conversation I've heard regarding the Neo Geo X is, "Have you heard about the Neo? Do you like Neo Geo?" "Yeah, I love Neo Geo." "Oh, well, would you buy this handheld?" "Well, how much does it cost?"
Yeah.
And that's the $64 million question, isn't it? Really, is how much is it going to cost?
But see,
I-
why is
that's
that
the
the first
make or
question?
break question.
You know?
That's just a make or break question. I mean, it really, nothing else will even matter. Like, its features, we know it has 20 games. We know what it looks like. We just need a price.
Yeah.
But I mean, is there anybody who can't live without this machine? Because that's ultimately what it has to be. It has to be something that you dedicate a serious portion of your income to.
It has to be. It has to be desirable. It's like, for example, I want a PlayStation Vita. I was one of those that wanted to get it on day one, and then something just told me, wait. You know,
What?
it was just a moment of clarity that just said, wait. So,
Was it the fact that you had a PSP and saw how ultimately useless it was?
well,
No, it's because he's cheap.
no, not because I'm cheap, not because I thought the PSP was useless, because I did actually enjoy the PSP for other things other than the actual games on the system. You know, mainly the fact that I've got a portable movie player with me and I can use it as a MP3 player or whatever. But that was at the time. But
Portable porn is there's
exactly,
value there.
exactly.
Always
But
Fap. There you go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know, guy.
yeah, but anyway,
But the Vita, legitimately.
the price point for me. There's two fucking models of it, right? You've got the Wi-Fi model and you've got the 3G and Wi-Fi model, which you need a fucking mobile phone contract to have. So,
And what is it with Sony and they just can't stop doing that thing where they have several different models and they confuse the fuck out of the consumers.
well, look at the PSP. There's the PSP 1000, there's the PSP 2000, or the Slim and Light, PSP 3000 with a slightly better screen than the 2000. Then there's the PSP Go, which is a piece of shit and should never be mentioned in this conversation ever again.
The PSP, no.
Then they've done like this E1000 version, And basically, it is a watered-down version of the PSP 3000 with no Wi-Fi on it, shit sound, and it's only mono, by the way. The sound's only mono, and it's made out of the cheapest possible plastic you could think of.
Because that's what you want in a handheld,
Exactly.
something cheap that'll break in
Not
your
only
hands.
that, not only that, but what 3 hours of battery life, and this SD cards that you have to take out a second mortgage to be able to afford.
No, it's its own proprietary fucking memory card. The fucking
This is nothing new for Sony by any means. They were doing that all throughout the 80s with... Can you think of how many different versions there are of the Sony Trinitron television? The only reason this has become prominent is because now we're talking about proprietary software.
Exactly.
Because, there's so many different versions of the fucking DVD player, but the same DVDs worked all the way across the, the format.
Well,
but I mean, it's a bad thing. I mean, they're losing. At least the last time I checked, they were losing to the 3DS by a 7-1 margin.
Jesus Christ!
And the PSP right now is selling better than the Vita in Japan.
And to be quite honest, the PSP's got a better library of games than the fucking Vita will ever hope to have at the moment.
Of course it does.
Isn't the PlayStation 2 still selling better than the PlayStation 3?
The PlayStation 2 is still being sold.
Yeah, I know, but isn't it still doing better than the PlayStation 3?
It is, apparently, from what I've seen.
And I love how DVDs have fought back against Blu-ray. I love that too.
Well, DVDs, right? You could go out and buy a DVD box set with all your seasons on it, and it's fucking, I don't know, probably no more than $50, $60, right?
Yeah.
If you get a second hand, it's like $6.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right? You go out and buy, I don't know, a brand, I'll use my Dragon Ball Z DVDs, for example, right? I got my Dragon Ball DVD Season 1, right? There's 6 discs in that, right? That's about 40 episodes, roundabout.
40 episodes so that Goku can charge up a spirit bomb.
Exactly. And they've blown it up into widescreen. They give you both fucking audio channels and all that sort of stuff, right? The Blu-rays, right? The Blu-rays, you get about 3 or 4 episodes per disc, and there's only 17 per set. 17 episodes per set. So you're talking like three Blu-rays roundabout. And they've put it back to the normal aspect, so it's 4:3. So you got big 2-inch bars down either side of your screen.
Nice.
It's the they say, it's high definition. How much high definition do you need on a fucking anime?
I know, it's an 80s cartoon, for Christ's sake, guys. How much?
Yeah,
better
that was.
But the pricing is
I really
different.
want to see all the film grain and the imperfections in the animation.
Oh, we love that, and the odd shake.
That's what I want.
And
that was the funny thing about the Simpsons DVDs too. They're gonna put that on Blu-ray.
Exactly.
It's like, it's a fucking cartoon. What do you want to see the different? Here was when they edited analog, and now here's digital editing.
I never understood. Whenever somebody says to me, "Oh, I'm going to buy a cartoon on Blu," I'm going to buy even an anime on Blu-ray. It's like, why don't you just bend over and part your ass cheeks and let Sony deflower you with their money cock?
What they're really telling you is they want to pay the same price they paid for 4 discs.
Get a bit off topic with this part, please. What I wanted to say was the fact, I just wanted to put into perspective what they were doing with these DVDs. The same season, right? And you have to buy 3 fucking box sets just to have the full first season of Dragon Ball Z. And they're probably like $40 or $50 extra, for each one. What's the point? DVD is still prevalent. I can put it in, the PlayStation 3 upscales fucking DVDs anyway. So if you've got a real good quality DVD, bung it in that, guaranteed it's going to upscale to at least 720. Easy.
Oh yeah. This reminds me of like in the mid-90s when Sony was going out of their way to blow up the mini disc format. Like, it's going to take over CDs. Year 2012, and CDs still hold sway.
Oh yeah.
So, that's more of, Sony just, tooting their own fucking horn. They honestly believe that they are the beginning and the end of electronic media and entertainment.
Yeah. And then there's UMDs, right? I've got a good friend that does not like UMDs, right? But the way I see it is that UMDs is a good format, right? But it wasn't used properly. It wasn't used to its potential, right? Basically, you could play music and it wouldn't skip. You could play a movie, it wouldn't skip. It wouldn't skip on load times. Load times were pretty, they weren't that bad, but they were good enough. Maybe if they use it into something like a car,
Yeah.
work it into your stereo system. But that was the thing that Sony didn't see in the infinite foresight of fucking corporate, bullshitness. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But anyway, back to the. I think we were on the Neo Geo, weren't we, at the time?
Yep.
Well, what's next?
What's next?
Well, before we jump off of that subject real quick, don't forget that the UMD is actually just a reworking of the Sony mini disc.
Yes.
So,
Same shit, different packaging.
it's just a slightly different case. Don't believe the bullshit like it's this revolutionary technology. Anyway, back on to what we were talking
Back
about.
onto the Neo Geo. So, basically, we're worried about the price point of the Neo Geo.
And that's sad.
And that's sad.
That is sad.
I want to like it. I want to like it, and I want to say that I've owned a Neo Geo at one point in my gaming life.
I think it's going to confuse people because it looks like just half of a 3DS.
You know what it looks like to me? It looks like a iPhone 4 with a fucking D-pad and a few buttons.
Dude, that's what I said. It just looks like an iPhone with an analog stick.
Uh-huh.
It's like, there you go. And I mean, if they can get this fucking thing, off the ground and stuff, it'd be cool as like a novelty gift. Like, hey, I'll just bust out this little Neo Geo X and play it. It cost me less than 100 bones. That's pretty cool. But trying to fucking sell this, like, it's one of the big wigs, and this can do all types of crazy shit. Like, $400, I can go buy a fucking laptop.
What's funny is this seems kind of like like one of those obscure consoles like the Bandai Pippin or the Amstrad. Like, this is the wrong time to try and get your foot into the video game console market.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Especially when you're not sure what you're doing in the first place.
Well, the thing is, like, again, I really don't think that they're entering that same market. It's just because of their namesake. Because if you look at that little Sega handheld I was talking about, when that was put out, it's not actually manufactured and made by Sega. Another company made all the hardware and the guts and everything. It's just they get Sega's okay to have Sonic on there and have all the Sega Genesis and Mega Drive games on there and stuff. And this is the same deal. Do you guys remember what the name of that fucking company is?
Blaze.
That's making the Neo Geo X.
Blaze, apparently. I'll look it up.
Yeah. Well, they're putting out. So this isn't actually, an SNK manufactured piece of hardware. So I kind of hold into question of the build quality and everything of it because I'm not very familiar with the company firsthand. But, if they can go and do all this right, I'll be thoroughly happy. If not, I will have to say I'll be kind of disappointed just because I love me some SNK.
Well, don't forget, none of the actual, Neo Geo arcade hardware, well, maybe not the arcade hardware, but the console hardware was actually made by SNK. It was through a contracted production house. This may be the very same case. They're just giving away the name. That way, if it sucks, they'll be like, don't blame us. It was them.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know.
It's still, I mean, they're going to be the ones that get the blame, though. It won't be the manufacturer of it.
Sure.
Because we'll see Neo Geo and SNK embroidered onto this thing. So the first thing we'll do is point our finger at them, be like, you gave them the okay, and you priced it, and blah 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 blah. And naturally,
Don't worry, we're suing them right now.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, so that Neo Geo was actually made by Blaze. Well, it's being distributed by Blaze in the UK.
So
who's
basically,
they manufacture as well.
Oh, did you? Okay, all right.
To sum up everybody's feelings, we want to like it, just don't price it all fucked up, and everything will be gravy.
Exactly.
I just think that to our loyal listeners should know that we're going to keep on top of this, and we'll keep you posted as news becomes available.
We keep on top of it like a whore who needs money.
Exactly.
Yes.
And that leads us on to our next bit is the rant section. So
Actually, before we move on to that, we did have. I did want to talk about one other little thing that Alpha actually touched on in one of his little vlog episodes, whatever. The Ninja Turtles thing.
Oh goodness.
You guys all know what I'm talking about right now, right before I even say it, right?
Yes.
Michael Bay, he's only producing, thank God in heaven, but he's producing the new Turtles flick, and apparently it's changing up the origin a little bit to make them alien or something, or that's the suggestion or the implication, right?
Right.
But anyways, my whole thing was I just wanted to point out actually that the Turtles originally, because I'm a huge fucking comic book fan. I draw fucking comics. But the Turtles actually originally had an alien origin. Anyways, they actually, like, you know the fucking ooze? The ooze that turned them into turtles?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it didn't turn them into turtles, but you know what the fuck I'm talking about. It was originally, like, toxic byproduct of the fucking... the engines or something. There was an alien race called the Utroms that came down to Earth, and they were observing humanity with a front corporation called the TCRI, right? And they had these, like, canisters or whatever, and anyways, they were radioactive, right? And they turned them into fucking Ninja Turtles.
See,
So,
the only thing is, like, even if we're going with all those facts,
which I don't think they are, but I'm just pointing that
I just
out.
feel like they're... I don't even think Michael Bay and all the new people that are jumping on board with this, I think that they're just like, well, we're going to go with our own direction and try to reinvent this. Like, that's what I think they're trying to do, is just like, you know, the typical Hollywoodize something and try to bring it up to date, and let's give this our own little twist and whatever the fuck. I'm worried. Just worried.
I'm not, because let's be realistic. This is not the first time that this series has fallen from grace.
That's very true.
Ninja Turtles 3, anyone?
If the series could recover from fucking Vanilla Ice, it can recover from anything.
If it can recover from Venus de Milo. She had turtle breasts.
Yeah.
Turtle
My
breasts.
God, you fucking beat me to that. She had turtle titties. Like, who the fuck has Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle titties? And it's not even like big honkers or anything. It's like little nerps. It's like, what the fuck, man? This is just awkward for everybody.
And she didn't have like a you know, a mask over her chest either.
No, I
She
was
should
going to
have.
say.
It would make sense.
I was going to say what they're going to do next. Put some the same sort of thing like the bat nipples in Batman and Robin.
Oh.
Oh no.
Oh no, or like the duck tits from Howard the Duck.
Oh God.
At least there was no turtle camel toe.
Oh.
That's very
It
good.
was there, you just didn't see it.
And not only that, but it's already a sausage
On his
fest.
back.
I mean, come on.
and if
these turtles are just chilling out, there's 4 of them. They're all guys.
Yeah.
What was going on there? There's 1 girl and 4 guys. Come on.
well, how do you think April O'Neil felt?
Skinny turtle.
It's a turtle gangbang.
Yeah,
Well,
it really is.
April got donged by Casey Jones, so she didn't have to worry about that, right? But the turtles, they got one mutant turtle chick on the entire planet, for Christ's sake, and you better believe their balls are bluer than the Atlantic at that point.
Yeah, she's pretty much going to be the Smurfette of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles now.
Pretty much.
An entire fucking village just go into town on her at 6 p.m. because it's that time. Choo choo, run the train.
You know, they're just walking by pet shops like, Jesus Christ. I'm going blue back here, guys. We got to make something happen.
See, that's one thing Turtles never did. Turtles never had one of those like public service episodes like against racism.
No.
Could be like, you know, the turtles are opposed to her getting involved with like, you know, Usagi Yojimbo. Interracial sex is wrong.
Oh, you Usagi Yojimbo. Good times. Anyways.
Yeah.
But I wanted to throw that out because it was everybody's talking about this shit now with the fucking turtle.
See,
Yeah,
it is
so
a very good fact to bring up. It's just, I think what they're doing is just, I really think that they're just trying to give their own Hollywood version and strap it on and go to fucking work.
At least Megan Fox isn't in it.
Oh God.
Yeah, that's a good start, honestly. It really is.
No, you know the way this is gonna turn out. Megan Fox is the one thing that probably could have saved this piece of shit.
Oh, God.
Dude, she is a useless fucking hole. Like,
So is all of Hollywood.
but that I can't argue with. Damn it.
There we go. So rant section, eh?
Yeah.
All right, take it away, RazörFist.
Oh, yes.
What
Are
are
you
you
stretching for this segment? It sounds like you are.
Yeah.
Crapping yourself and shit. You're gonna Hulk out.
Oh yeah.
My Olympic
Just
stretches.
to let the listeners know that this is the section of the podcast where one of us will take over for X amount of time. God knows how long it's going to last.
Gonna be
And
like any rant of mine, it's going to be like, I don't know, 4 minutes or something. I'll keep
Exactly.
myself I'll keep myself in check.
And this is where we rant about something that is, well, practically pissed us off, whether it's game related, metal related, music related, or movie related. So, RazörFist is first to the chopping block. So, take it away, mate.
Yeah. So I know I'm late to the table with this. I originally wanted to rant about this a long time ago because back in 2011, the whole PlayStation Network being hacked.
Way back then.
Yeah, it was a while ago. To me, it was a bit of Schadenfreude, quite frankly. But anyways, I really wanted to address this topic because it's continuing even today. And Xbox Live recently was hacked by the same group of hackers, and it's going to keep going on. Anyways, I guess before I down this fucking turd smoothie, let me first state that while often it can be tempting to identify with one video company or another, as my now flaccid BioWare boner can attest, it happens to the best of us. The one universal truth in commerce is that publicly traded commercial enterprises are not your fucking friend. They aren't even your acquaintance. They don't want you, they want your cash. The sooner you abandon any long-held delusions on the subject, the sooner you can all deliver jaded, needlessly profanity-laced diatribes about it on fucking the internet. But I can't... I don't know, guys. I think that this was a little bit of poetic justice, quite frankly. Because... Well, I guess I could structure this a little bit. The fact of the matter is, I have no problem despising one particularly company or another and feeling completely justified in doing so. And before the limp-wristed pacifists waddle their fat asses out of the woodwork saying, "Oh, come on, RazörFist, it's only video games. Why don't you get a life? Video games are just for fun. It isn't serious business, lulzor," and other fucking 4chan memes. Why don't you plant your bulbous ass in the nearest chair and process the fact the video game industry currently makes more in annual revenue than the film industry does? Yet anyone who's even peripherally acquainted with the golden age of Hollywood, or even modern Hollywood, knows that with so much money at stake, there's always a major dark side. Whether it's backroom deals or doped up stars or pyramid schemes aplenty, all I'm saying is that if you don't think it's ridiculous to believe the fact that Hollywood has a long and storied history of fucking over people's lives with the almighty dollar, then you can stop flapping your three chins at me every time I talk about the video game industry, which makes even more cash than them doing the exact same thing. And feel free to use that in your next fucking forum argument. That said, I fucking hate Sony. I always have. And barring the discovery of a cure for the cancer genome residing in the PS3 cell processor, I probably always will. And I'm not going to say flame shields up because fuck your flame shields. I like mine extra crispy. And don't misconstrue that as me liking Microsoft either. Microsoft are a bunch of raving dicks. But you give me a choice between a Microsoft first-party game like MechWarrior or Dungeon Siege or Asheron's Call, Age of Empires, and a Sony first-party Japanophile Skyfest like fucking Oni. There isn't even a fucking choice there. Just a question of how I can pull off the complex physical feat of simultaneously playing MechWarrior and dropping a 10-ton turd on Oni. I mean, hell, you give me a choice between trusting Sony and anal intercourse with a diseased gorilla, I'm going to have to ponder the particulars of that quandary for a minute. Seriously. You want to know why, though, and I don't know. After all, most people don't have my sordid past when it comes to one of the world's largest electronics manufacturers, so, gather around the campfire here and I'll attempt to edify you. I bought my first Sony electronic in 1997. It was a top-of-the-line Sony camcorder. I barely got the fucker out of the box before the inner tape recording mechanism fucking broke. And I had to head over to Target for a replacement, which also broke inside of a fucking month, for the record. And mind you, I'm not using these cameras for spelunking expeditions or fucking skydiving documentaries. The extent of their operational requirement is sit there on the tripod and fucking record. And don't break, for Christ's sake. Well, none out of 3 ain't bad. So I bought a Samsung after that, and I've had that bastard for going on 12 years without so much as a complaint. But my first encounter with a Sony video game system came in 2002. And I've mentioned this in, I've done vlogs about it and stuff. I bought my PS2 in 02, and I was stoked to buy it, right? I had friends of mine spew ultimately incorrect and overstated factoids about how many polygons it could render and dithering and shit. The sort of feckless fanboy fuckery we're inundated with at the beginning of every console's life cycle. I mean, what the fuck is dithering anyway? Do any of us know what the hell it does? No. What they fail to mention is the system has about as much RAM as my fucking pocket calculator, so the levels are going to be small as shit, and loading times will be more painful and frequent than a Justin Bieber single. But that sort of technical claptrap doesn't bother me all that much. Sure, the Xbox and the GameCube were much better systems from a technical standpoint. Hell, even the goddamn Dreamcast tops out the PS2 in certain categories, rest in peace. What really pissed me the fuck off is the PS2 was released in what? 2001? I honestly don't even care enough to know. But the Nintendo 64 was released in, I think, 95, and yet has twice as many controller slots. Oh, so that must mean the PS2 has no 4-player games, I'm sure you're thinking. Well, you thought wrong, bitch. They have 4-player games out the ass. They have 8-player games, as a matter of fact. They're going to charge your ass for a fucking peripheral called a multi-tap just for the privilege of enjoying a feature Nintendo fans had been experiencing for the last half a decade. And how do the fanboys react? Oh, by lubing up their asshole and anxiously awaiting the moment Sony chooses to deflower them with their throbbing money cock. But then I needed to save my goddamn game, so I head up to the store and I dropped $35 on a brand new PS2 memory card with 8 goddamn megabytes of space. Mind you, this is 2002. At the time, I had friends walking around. I think they had like, 200 megabyte flash drives for all of $15. This is an '02, guys. Well, maybe not that much. Okay, let's be conservative about this. 100 megabyte flash drives for $15, $30, $40 even, and you're going to charge me $35 for 8 megabytes of storage at a time when you can buy an original Xbox for the same price and have a huge hard drive to save my games on and rip my CDs to listen to them in game and shit. But you all bought the fucking system because it had a PlayStation brand slapped on the case and because they bought every fucking exclusive under the sun, which is why the term schadenfreude doesn't do my mood justice when I see that Sony tried to do the exact same thing with the PS3 and have been hemorrhaging money ever since. In the wake of the PSN outage, and obviously that storm has long since passed, but Sony at the time had lost $2.08 billion. Billion with a fucking B. As a matter of fact, Sony, and I imagine partially because of this fact, Sony recently sold their entire LCD TV division to Samsung. The entire fucking thing, folks. They were one of the largest LCD TV manufacturers in the world. The fact of the matter is, if they'd not simply been playing Keeping Up with the Joneses while making the PSN to desperately try to compete with an inferior version of Xbox Live, they would have been spared that humongous financial hit. So while the cowardly hackers crouching behind their computer monitors thinking an IP cycler and a proxy internet connection can substitute for a girlfriend and a dick that doesn't resemble a fucking push pop, continue their pointless assault on a company that couldn't possibly deserve it more, I'll be sitting here with my middle finger extended in the direction of their Tokyo, Japan headquarters, watching poetic justice in action. I guess I'm RazörFist, got fucking speed.
Hey, fucking man.
Dude, I applaud you because, man, do you string together a nice fucking selection of words that most listeners might be like, I'm going to have to go and look that one up. And definitely put motherfuckers in their place. That always pleases me.
Well done, RazörFist. Thank you very, very much for that.
And you too can get your own Sony money cock for only $19.95 at all GameStop locations.
It's the new peripheral.
Yeah.
And remember, it's only
they
for
changed the name of the
deflowering.
move.
4 speeds.
4 speeds.
Yeah, they call it the move because it moves right up your asshole.
Yeah, so anyway, thank you for destroying my love for Sony. No, not fanboyism. It's just because it was a cheap console and I could get hold of it quick.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, thank you for the inaugural rant of this podcast. So we're going to move on to audience participation. We want feedback. We want to know what you want us to rant about, what you want bringing up. Now, there's 3 ways you can do this. You can leave a comment down below in the comment box. You can send us a private message to our own YouTube channel once we've got that up and running. Or you could email us even if you still use email. And the email address is hatebitpodcast, all one word, @gmail.com. Now, we all have access to that, so
Yes, sir.
we'll all read them out, and maybe next time we'll read you out on the next podcast. So,
It would be nifty.
And don't forget, for all you fabulous cats watching this on YouTube, make sure and like all our Facebook pages, links provided in the section below.
And give us all $100.
we're not the RA Gamer.
Oh, damn it! For a
Yeah,
second
we can't do that. Oh wait, you want to know what? I think we're gonna have to start reviewing stuff that AVGN did and just copying and pasting it with our audio over, playing it.
Yeah, we could do that.
No, we could do that.
Yeah.
We'd have to buy a lot of teeth whitener, though.
Yeah.
No, Tipex, that'll work.
Inject ourselves with monkey DNA.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So, has anybody got any closing comments?
Oh, hell no. Oh, well.
I don't want to turn it into a rant. We'll save that for next time.
Fair play.
Yeah. Simply put, I thank you guys for listening, and I hope this continues to go on and on and on, because I have a blast talking to you guys. It's freaking awesome.
Oh, yeah. And even if nobody listens to us, we'll still fucking do it. Fuck them.
I know. Who gives a fuck?
And
Yeah,
for anybody out there that is listening to us, I love all you lovely motherfuckers. Lovely motherfuckers. Yeah, look at my butchery of the English language. But regardless, you all get my sentiments of fucking gratitude. And fact is, thank you for actually listening to us go and banter on about this. And yeah, you should be tuning in, because we will continue, even if there's only one of you crazed motherfuckers listening.
Go on, Yellkaos. I'm sure you got some closing comments.
I do, but I want you to say what you have to say first.
Well, I'm going to be closing.
Because you're so polite. Okay, well then I'll say this then. I'm great. So are these three guys. Make sure to join us each and every time. Thank you very much, and I remind you to make love and not children.
Aye.
Oh.
And on that wonderful note,
And on that note, we've just been picketed by a Right to Life crew.
yep. And here comes the Westboro Baptist Church, ready to fucking burn us in hell. So, on that note, I shall end this video. Well, podcast. That's a strange turn of words for myself. So, I've been SaintedMagnus. He's been AlphaOmegaSin. He's been RazörFist, and he's been Yellkaos. And we shall all see you in the next podcast.
See ya!
Bye-bye.
Bye.